Hi all, Juan in Port St. Lucie, and this video is my last video. It was a talking around the town video. This is going to be back to my NYPD roots and how great it was being a transit cop originally and then becoming an NYPD officer. The transition had some bumps in the road, but we kept a lot of good supervisors, a lot of good co-workers. There were some guys, obviously, that always thought about how cool it would be to work in a neighboring precinct to their home, because at that time, I don't know if it's still true today, you couldn't work in your own precinct. But you can, for travel reasons, since we all drove to work, we all took the train or the bus. We didn't have take-home cars in my era. Now, as I was getting ready to retire around 2001, right around just before 9/11, I saw that they were giving the captains some take-home cars. And of course, they went around and grabbed the best anti-crime cars that we had, because we had a couple of Crown Vics remaining. My unit lost a Crown Vic, but we used to have the vans. The vans were nice. When they were new, they were really good shape, and of course, we beat them up with putting all the scales and all the arrest evidence. We were doing cable theft, we were doing vandals, we were doing anti-crime, we were doing guys breaking into the bus depot and stealing engine supplies and stuff like that. So, it was a busy time though. If you liked anti-crime, if you worked my shift, which was midnight shift, except when you had to go to court, if you can do that, you were good. You were good. The supervisors were happy. They did their thing. We did our thing. We met in the middle as far as communication and keeping in touch, which is communication. And we weren't problem officers, because problem officers, you can spot them a mile away. And we were lucky, and I keep saying we because I consider myself part of a team. We were lucky that we didn't have those issues. We didn't have to go and find officers in whatever location they were doing their thing at. We all worked, and we all try to take care of each other within reason. We were all gung-ho. We were all, most of us were A+ personalities. So, when you get a couple of guys like that, sometimes there can be some clash, which is normal. You get over it, the disagreements or whatever. But the main thing is, the majority of the time, I feel pretty comfortable saying that we were an excellent team. Different nationalities. There were, it was cool that way too. And we had the misfortune for some, fortune for us, of crime being rampant. I mean, if you came back and said there was nothing out there, we secretly go, okay, New York City, work in the Bronx and Manhattan. Now, some other guys work Brooklyn and Queens, and I'm not a specialist. I did work out there for a couple of years myself, but any chance I got, like I said before, I came back to the Bronx. I felt comfortable at location. I knew where I was going to eat at 3 or 4 in the morning. I knew where, if somebody needed coffee, where we were going to get fresh coffee. Yankee Stadium over there for, I think that's Girard, maybe a block and a half from the train station, a block and a half from the stadium. That was great. And then we had 149th and Grand Concourse. and they had a 24-hour restaurant there, restaurant diner type, and there was always a place. I mean, then you want to get creative. You had over on Broadway, like around 110th, I think it was, maybe in that area, they had a 24-hour bagel coffee shop, and at any time you could see 4 or 5 RMPs parked out front, and they might be from 3 or 4 different precincts. EMS would park out front. So it was a busy location. Food was always going. Coffee was always going if you needed it. Next door was it might have been a 24-hour pizza shop. I don't remember seeing it closed. And, so it was great. If we were going to meet up with our boss and he was coming from Brooklyn or Queens and checking on the other guys, we would meet at 110th Broadway. Everybody got fresh coffee. Everybody got a fresh stretch in their legs if you were in the van too long, because, it was one of those nights. But either way, pause.